Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. The biggest mistake people make today is talking too much about their plans. They broadcast their goals. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They want applause before they've done a single thing. Weak, that's weakness. Winners don't talk, winners work. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you have in a world full of noise. The weak man talks. He shouts his intentions to the world, looking for applause before he's achieved anything. He brags about what he's going to do, what he plans to build, how he'll change his life, and all the while he's standing still. His energy is wasted on words, on validation, seeking. The man who is destined for greatness understands that real power comes from silence. The quiet man is dangerous because nobody sees him coming. He's focused on execution, not applause, and when his work is done, the results are undeniable. Every time you speak about your dreams to others, you give away a little piece of your energy. You're hoping for encouragement, you're hoping for support, you're hoping people will tell you, wow, that's amazing, you can do it, but here's the truth, no one cares. People are either too focused on themselves, or they're waiting for you to fail so they can feel better about their own lack of action. That's the reality of the world. And when you open your mouth and announce your plans, you give your enemies, your haters, your doubters ammunition. They know what you're trying to do. They can start watching you, judging you, hoping you stumble. They'll talk behind your back, and if you fail, they'll celebrate it. But when you work in silence, when you shut up and get to work, you become unpredictable. You move in ways they don't expect. You grind while they sleep. You build while they waste time gossiping. And then one day they wake up and see the man you've become. They see the empire you built, and they're shocked. They had no idea. That's the strength of silence. It keeps your enemies blind. It keeps your critics starving for information. And by the time they see your success, it's too late for them to stop it. Silence is strength because it forces you to focus. When you stop talking, all that energy goes into action, into planning, into discipline, into improving yourself. You stop wasting time on empty words and you start filling your life with productive habits. You wake up earlier, you hit the gym harder, you study longer, you build businesses, skills, assets. Without telling the world your every move, that is how legends are made, not by talking, by doing. And let me tell you something else. Silence builds self-respect. The man who talks all the time is secretly insecure. He needs others to validate his goals. He needs people to cheer for him just to keep going. But the man who stays silent, he relies on himself. His motivation comes from within. He doesn't need an audience to feel worthy. His confidence grows from the grind, from the quiet victories no one sees, from the progress he makes in the dark. That's real strength. That's unshakable confidence. People will always tell you to share your journey. They'll say, oh, tell people what you're working on so they can help. Or let people know what your goals are so they can support you. It sounds nice, but it's a trap. Because most people don't actually want to see you win. They want to see you stay at their level. The moment you start rising above them, they'll pull you back. They'll fill your head with doubts. They'll tell you it's impossible, or they'll subtly undermine your ambitions. That's why you stay silent. You don't give them a chance to infect your mind with their limitations. You protect your vision, and here's the best part. When you work in silence, your success makes all the noise you'll ever need. The car you drive, the home you own, the freedom you enjoy, those things speak louder than any words ever could. A man who wins doesn't have to tell people he's a winner. People see it, they feel it, they respect it. You walk into a room and they know. That's the noise that matters, not the noise of talking, the noise of results. So keep your plans to yourself. Build in the shadows. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay silent. And when the time comes, let your success do the talking. Let the results speak for you. Let the doubters choke on their words. Let the haters hear the roar of your victory without you saying a single thing. That is how a man moves. That is how a champion is made, and that is how you make the noise that matters. The noise of undeniable, unstoppable, unshakable success. Talent is the excuse of the weak. Every man loves to say, oh, he's talented, he was born for it. That's how they comfort themselves when they see someone winning. They want to believe it's something magical, something given at birth, because if it's talent, they don't have to feel bad about being average. They tell themselves, it's not my fault, I wasn't born with it. But here's the truth, talent means nothing without discipline. I don't care how gifted you are. If you can't wake up early, if you can't stay focused, if you can't outwork the man next to you, you will lose. Every single time, the world is full of talented losers, men who had potential, who had natural gifts, who could have been great, but they chose comfort, they chose laziness, they chose distraction. Meanwhile, the disciplined man, the man who isn't the most gifted, who isn't the fastest or the strongest or the smartest, he grinds. He shows up every single day. He works when he doesn't feel like it. He puts in the reps, the hours, the sacrifices, and slowly, surely, he destroys the talented man who can't stay consistent. Discipline is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter how much talent you were born with. Discipline makes the difference because talent fades. If you don't sharpen it, if you don't use it, it rusts, it rots. And all the talent in the world won't save you when you're standing next to the man who outworked you for years. The disciplined man doesn't rely on motivation. Motivation is a joke. It comes and goes. Motivation is a mood. You feel good today, great, but what about tomorrow when you're tired? What about next week when life gets hard? The disciplined man doesn't care how he feels. He gets it done anyway. He trains anyway. He works anyway. He learns anyway. He stays hungry anyway. That's what builds greatness. That's what builds power. The man who waits for motivation is weak. He's a slave to his feelings. He's up when he feels good, and he's down when he doesn't. That man will never dominate. The disciplined man controls his emotions. He controls his actions. He controls his destiny. You see, talent without discipline is wasted potential, but discipline without talent, that's unstoppable, because the man with discipline will keep going long after the talented man quits. He'll stay on the path. He'll keep swinging the axe day after day until the tree falls, and here's the best part, discipline creates talent. The man who trains daily becomes skilled. The man who studies daily becomes wise. The man who hustles daily becomes rich. Talent is built. It's earned through discipline. When I was broke, nobody cared about my potential. The world didn't care if I had talent. All that mattered was what I could do. Could I perform? Could I produce? Could I win? And I did not because I was the most talented, but because I was the most disciplined. I outworked everyone. I outlasted everyone, and that's why I rose. The talented man loves shortcuts. He wants to win with minimal effort because he thinks his gift should be enough, and that's why he loses. He thinks life owes him something because he's special, but life doesn't care about special. Life rewards the man who shows up, does the work, and refuses to quit. Ask yourself this: are you relying on talent, or are you building discipline? Are you hoping your natural gifts will carry you, or are you forging yourself into a machine that can't be stopped? Every day you have a choice, the gym or the couch, the book or the phone, the hustle or the distraction, and every day those choices add up. Discipline compounds, it builds momentum, it makes you unbeatable. Look at the champions, the billionaires, the kings of their industries. Are they the most talented? Sometimes. But what they all have without exception is discipline. They show up early, they stay late. They do what others won't. They push when it's hard. They stay focused when the rest of the world gets soft. That's why they win. So stop waiting for talent to save you. Stop telling yourself you're special. Stop using talent as an excuse not to work. Discipline beats talent. Discipline builds empires. Discipline creates freedom. If you want to win, don't focus on what you were born with. Focus on what you build every day through relentless, ruthless, unstoppable discipline. That's the secret, that's the truth, that's how you become untouchable. The moment you decide to aim higher, the moment you choose to rise above mediocrity, understand this: you're being watched. The world is filled with people who don't want you to win. They'll smile to your face, they'll act supportive, but deep down they're waiting for you to trip, waiting for you to fall, waiting for proof that you're just like them, weak, lazy, ordinary. And if you're foolish enough to show your hand, to reveal your plan, to let them in on your vision, you're feeding them exactly what they want. You're giving them targets to attack. You're giving them information they can use against you. And that's why you give them nothing. Your enemies don't need to know what's coming. They don't deserve to know. You don't owe them explanations. You don't owe them updates. You owe them silence. You owe them confusion. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them waste their time trying to figure you out while you move in ways they can't see, can't predict, can't stop. That's power. That's control. That's how you win. You see, when you talk too much, when you brag, when you announce your next move, you expose yourself. You're handing your enemies a map to attack you. They can prepare, they can plot, they can set traps. And when you stumble, they'll laugh, they'll celebrate, because you gave them that opportunity. You gave them the chance to witness your failure up close. But if you stay silent, if you grind in the shadows, they have nothing. They're blind, they're powerless. I learned this the hard way. When you start to level up, you'll notice something. People change. Friends turn into critics. Family members question you. Strangers start watching. The more you rise, the more eyes are on you, and not out of admiration, out of envy, out of bitterness, out of fear that your success will remind them of their own failure. So what do? You don't feed them. You don't give them the satisfaction. You keep your moves quiet. You keep your ambitions locked inside. You let your work do the talking, and when the results come, when you're standing on top, it's too late for them to stop you. Because here's the truth: enemies can't attack what they can't see. They can't sabotage what they don't know exists, and by the time they realize what you've built, what you've achieved, you're already too far ahead. That's how you protect your dreams. That's how you protect your empire, by giving them nothing to work with. And it's not just about haters, it's about discipline. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the less energy you have for doing it. Talking feels good. It tricks your brain into thinking you've achieved something, but it's fake, it's empty. Action is what matters, action is what builds, and action done in silence is action done right. The man who can keep his plans to himself, who can build quietly, who can succeed without needing applause, that man is dangerous. That man is untouchable. He moves in ways the world can't predict. He strikes when they least expect it. And when he wins big, because no one saw it coming. Think of it like war. A general doesn't announce his battle plans to the enemy. He keeps them secret. He strikes where the enemy is weak, when they're unprepared. That's how battles are won. That's how empires are built. And that's how you need to move in life. Stop telling people what you're working on. Stop posting your goals all over social media, begging for likes, begging for approval. Stop announcing your next move like it's some kind of show. You don't owe anyone a show. You owe yourself results. You owe yourself victory. And when that victory comes, it'll make all the noise you'll ever need. The house, the car, the freedom, those things speak louder than any words. Your enemies won't need to hear about your success from you. They'll see it with their own eyes, and it'll hurt them more than any speech ever could. So stay quiet, stay focused, stay deadly. Let them watch, let them wonder. Let them waste their time trying to figure out what you're up to. And while they're watching, while they're guessing, you're working. You're building, you're winning. That's how you starve your enemies. That's how you stay ahead. That's how you dominate. Give them nothing. Let success make the noise. The world doesn't care about what you say. It cares about what you do. Words are cheap. Everyone talks. Everyone says they're going to be rich. Everyone says they're going to build a business, change their body, become successful, but very few follow through. Very few have the strength to let their results speak, and that's why most people are broke, weak, and forgotten. You see, when you talk, you're borrowing respect. You're asking people to admire your intentions. But intentions don't matter, only outcomes matter. The man who wins doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need to shout about his grind. His life does the talking. His car, his house, his freedom, his fitness, those are the loudest statements a man can make. When you win, the world notices. You don't need to beg for attention. Success is magnetic. It draws eyes. It commands respect. And the best part, it shuts up your critics, because they can argue with your words. They can doubt your plans. They can mock your dreams, but they can't argue with results. They can't argue with proof. When you're standing at the top, when you're living the life they said was impossible, their words mean nothing. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the less likely you are to do it. Why? Because talking gives you fake satisfaction. It tricks your brain. You feel good saying, I'm going to be rich. You feel good saying, I'm going to build this empire. But that feeling is worthless. It doesn't move you forward. It doesn't stack cash in the bank. It doesn't build muscle. It just wastes time, and while you're busy talking, another man is outworking you, quietly, relentlessly, and one day you'll see him driving the car you wanted, living in the house you dreamed of, and you'll have nothing but your empty words. That's why you need to shut up and work. Let your success make the noise. Let your victories speak for you. People respect results. They admire what they see, not what they hear, and when you let results do the talking, everything changes. Doors open, opportunities come, enemies fall silent because they can't argue with reality. I don't need to tell anyone I'm a winner. I don't need to convince people I'm successful. They see it. They feel it when I walk into a room. That's the power of results. That's the power of doing rather than talking. And that's the power you need to aim for. Stop wasting your energy trying to impress people with words. Stop telling everyone your next move. Stop announcing your goals like it makes you special. Nobody cares about your goals. They care about whether you hit them, and the man who hits his goals doesn't need to say a word. His life does all the talking. You want to change your situation, focus on action, focus on building, focus on winning silently, and when the results come, the noise will come. But this time it won't be from your mouth. It'll come from the people around you. From the doubters who now have nothing to say, from the haters who now have to swallow their words, from the world that finally has no choice but to respect you. And here's the beauty of it. When you win through results, you don't have to argue. You don't have to convince. Success is undeniable. It silences every critic, every doubter, every hater. A man with results holds the power. A man with words holds nothing. So make the choice. Do you want to be the man who talks about success, or the man who lives it? Do you want to be remembered for what you said or for what you built? The answer should be clear. Let the results speak. Let your work create the noise. And let the world hear you loud and clear, not through your words, but through your undeniable, unstoppable, unshakable success. That's how you win. That's how you dominate. That's how you become the man nobody can ignore. The world doesn't respect words. The world doesn't care about promises, plans, or pretty speeches. The world respects winners. That's it. Full stop. The man who wins is the man the world listens to. The man who wins is the man who commands attention, earns respect, and lives on his terms. Nobody cares how good your ideas sound. Nobody cares how noble your intentions are. All they care about is whether you delivered, whether you won, and this is where most people fail. They think talking is enough. They think telling people their dreams, their goals, their strategies somehow earns them respect. It doesn't. Talking earns you nothing. It costs you time, energy, and focus. The only thing that earns respect is victory. The only thing that matters is what you achieve. Every man in this world has a mouth. Every man can talk. Every man can post on social media saying, "I'm going to do this," or "I'm going to crush that." But how many actually do? How many follow through? How many can back up their words with real success? Very few. That's why winners stand out. That's why winners rise above the noise, because the world is full of talkers and winners are rare. You see it everywhere. Losers talk all day long. They argue, they debate, they complain, they explain why they haven't won yet. They make excuses, and none of it matters, because at the end of the day, their results, or the lack of them, speak louder than anything they say. Nobody respects a man who promises but never delivers. Nobody looks up to the guy who always says, "Next year I'll get it done," but never does. The winner doesn't have to talk. His results speak for him. His car, his house, his business, his physique, his lifestyle, those are his statements. Those are his proof. That's what earns respect. People see success and they can't deny it. They might hate it. They might envy it, but they respect it, because deep down they know how hard it is to win. You want respect. Don't talk. Don't explain. Don't promise. Win. Outwork everyone. Outlast everyone. Outperform everyone. Stack your victories so high that no one can ignore you. That's the game. That's how you rise. And here's the brutal truth most people can't handle. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's handing out respect just because you want it. You have to take it, you have to earn it, and the only currency that buys respect is success. The man who wins gets to set the rules, the man who wins gets to speak, and people listen. The man who wins doesn't need to explain himself, the world listens because it can't ignore him. I don't need to convince anyone I'm successful. I don't need to argue. My life does the talking. That's the position you want to be in, where your results are so loud, so obvious, so undeniable that even your enemies have to shut up. Even your haters have to respect you, because success silences all critics. So stop wasting time trying to gain respect with words. Stop hoping people will admire your potential, your dreams, your plans. They won't. Potential means nothing, dreams mean nothing, plans mean nothing, results mean everything. Focus every ounce of your energy on winning, on building, on producing. Let other people talk, let other people argue. Let other people waste their breath. You stay focused on the only thing that matters, results. And when those results come, respect follows, power follows, freedom follows. Winners set the standard. Winners live by their own rules. Winners don't need permission, and that's the position you want, because once you win, the world opens up, doors open, opportunities come. People want to work with you, follow you, learn from you. Not because of what you said, because of what you did. So remember this, the world respects winners, not talkers. Be the man who wins. Be the man who produces. Be the man who stacks results so high that no one can ignore him. That's how you earn respect. That's how you dominate. That's how you become untouchable. At the end of the day, it's simple. The man who talks will always lose to the man who works. The man who seeks validation will always be controlled by the opinions of others. The man who broadcasts his plans will always be predictable, vulnerable, weak. But the man who stays silent, the man who grinds in the dark, the man who lets his success make the noise, that man is dangerous. That man is respected. That man wins. You want a life of power, a life of freedom, a life where no one can ignore you. Then stop talking, stop announcing, stop begging for respect. Earn it through discipline. Through silence, through action, through results. Let your enemies wonder. Let the doubters choke on their words. Let the world hear the roar of your success, not from your mouth, but from your reality. Move in silence, win in silence, and when the time comes, let success make the noise so loud that no one can ever deny you again. That is the path, that is the formula, and that is how you rise, not by words, but by results. Now go out and do it.